Yeah, Rich Moretti. And again, to all our men and women in uniform, we thank you again for your service here today. Respect the law for sure. All right, guys, let's get into our next start here, which we'll be expecting the boats to come out of the outer mole onto the race course to mill around. Look at the big crowds out at the waterfront here over at Mallory Square, looking towards the hotels in front of that incredible turn, number 3, hairpin turn here in Key West Harbor. This is the third day of racing, our second race of today, the Race World Offshore Key West World Championships. The classes Modified V and Stock V are officially recognized by the American Powerboat Association and the UIM, and we absolutely are ecstatic to have these two organizations back involved in Key West racing for the first time since 1987. And two UIM, Union of International Moto Nautique officials, are here to scrutinize this event. Jean-Marie Landker and Michael Lundblant, the technical director, spoke to the racers during the week. Also here is APBA Offshore Racing Commissioner Rich Lures and APBA President Chris Fairchild.
These guys are really psyched up because Modified V, Stock V, Super Stock, and Super Cat are not only going to get a world championship for APBA, but also a medal from UIM as well.
Yeah, so the first time since 1987, APBA and both UIM are here in Key West, and I think this bodes well for racing in Key West, which has always had an international interest. I think it's going to grow in future years. All right, boats are coming out of the mole now. We see the Visit St. Pete Clearwater boat, the boat that ran up over the back of Marker 17 in Modified V on Wednesday. They pieced that boat back together, ran it very well.
There goes the Cigarette Hawk pace boat. That's the boat that indicates to the racers that they're getting escorted out to the milling circle.
All right, let's get you today's lineup for World Championship Racing. In Stock V, the V1 Relentless Punisher. Number 21, Shocker. V1 LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. The MSP Recovery, the Firm, number 11. And number 19, RS Racing. Moving over to Modified V, it's theboatfloater.com. Number 29, Marker 17 Marine. 700 Sheriff Lobo. 727 Visit St. Pete Clearwater. And the number 4 Octane, that's Modified V. In the Stock 450 class, the number 7 MTI, a 39 MTI with twin 450 Merc outboards, a spec class this year, a demo class. Taylor Sissom is the driver, John Tomlinson, the throttleman. And 3 boats in the bracket 200 class, bracketed at 100 miles per hour. These boats fly. The 233 Wicks developer, Harpoon Harry's. It's a Fountain with twin 750 horsepower Mercury engines, Scott Brown and Eddie Tamburino. And the 227 Team Woody, a 35 Fountain with twin 600 XRs, Billy Shipley and Chad Woody back in the cockpit. And the 209 We on Top Racing with TW Mock and Brian Cole on board. Joey Cook from the Key West Citizen. Let's take a look at the point standings in these classes and start with Stock V.
Stock V right now, Hurricane LSB of Awesomeness is well in control of that class right now. They have to, for the rest of the fleet, in order for anybody else to win, they have to finish pretty much third or lower. Relentless can win with a third place finish by the Hurricane LSB of Awesomeness. Shocker needs the Hurricane LSB to fall all the way to fourth place. So pretty much the whole field is eyes on LSB and what they're going to do today. A first, second place finish for them, and they are guaranteed a world championship.
All right, let's move on to Modified V.
Modified V is a bit closer right there. Boat Floaters comes in today with the overall point lead, but just by 11 points right now. So Marker Marine and Boat Floaters are in a race for first right now overall. Marker Marine can win today and take the overall championship. Sheriff Lobo is sitting within striking distance too. If Sheriff Lobo wins, Boat Floaters come in second. Marker Marine comes third or lower, then all of a sudden Sheriff Lobo could pop in there. And for that matter, St. Pete is not out of this running at all yet. They need a lot of help. They need a win, and they need boat floaters to finish at the bottom there, third or lower, and then so on. Marker Marine 17 second, and Lobo. So those 4 boats right there, that's a wide open class, and it just all depends on how this class is going to play out at the back, and then not so much the front, but at the back of this is going to really determine who the world champion is.
And it could get complicated in bracket class 200.
That is the toughest, the tightest bracket coming in. The tightest standings coming into this world championship right now Sunday is the bracket class 2. The 3 boats in that class are separated by, what is that, 19 points right there. I'm sorry, 21 points. To do a little math. 21 points. So pretty much the winner of today is in control. Team Woody wins. They need We on Top to finish third in that one to be the outright winner. But even if We on Top comes in second, we have a tiebreaker coming on there, and it's about distance traveled, which We on Top comes in with a further distance traveled because Woody broke down that very first day. But again, anything can happen today. We'll see what happens. We on Top, as we pointed out earlier, had some troubles testing earlier after the race on Friday. So we'll see if that opens up for that class. But it's a tight race in bracket 2.
And JW, the starts they switched the starts up on this race, and we're just going to have the Mod V's go first.
The Mod V's and the Stock 450 boat.
It's going to start first, and they're running 10 laps, 46 miles today, and in then come the bracket 200s and the Stock V's. Stock V's are also running 10 laps, 46 miles. The bracket class 200 are running 8 laps or 46 miles. And it's important to note that they didn't double the laps today. They rolled them back a little bit because of the rough conditions out here on the course. The boats are up on plane now. This is going to be our first start here today behind the 50-foot cigarette pace boat. Yellow flag is up. They're lining up the boats for the final start in this 14-boat field. 3 days of racing. This is day number 3. The World Championships presented by Race World Offshore, and the boats are off. The race is on. Allez vite! As we see the MTI boat pull ahead, the only catamaran racing here, but you got Marker 17 Marine. Visit St. Pete Clearwater, but boatfloater.com and Sheriff Lobo blow by on the outside or the inside leg. Closest to the pin as they head out to turn number 1. We watch the start of the Mod V class here. Sheriff Lobo looking good. They love this water. They won here in Key West in 2019. We saw Johnny Tomlinson and Taylor Sism take the wide line. They were with the boats on Friday. They won't have to here. They're going to power up and get away. Let's watch the boats running in the rear on the live stream. These are all your leaders in the modified V. Sheriff Lobo has a good run on the pin and takes the turn first. Now we'll head back to our second start here in this third day of racing for the World Championships. Here are your Stock V boats. And RNS gets off to a pretty decent start.
They were not green yet. They had to drop back to the pack and let it go green, and that gives them a disadvantage.
So we see our 200 boats, which are very fast, move out quickly. That's the Wicks team. And Team Woody running side by side. We're coming back around here on turn number 2, right in front of Fort Zachary Taylor. We'll watch the V-bottom boats here. Let's see how they're performing out there. A lot of air on Friday, but right now those boats are holding in the water pretty well. 4 boats wide here.
Oh, there's a bump.
Yep, Lobo had the lead at turn 1, but they've fallen back. Looks like Marker 17 has the early lead, but right next to him is boatfloater.com. They're going to come in gunnel to gunnel, folks. And here's Marker 17 Marine with the early lead. Boat Floater in second. Lobo in third. Well, Visit St. Pete Clearwater is in that mix somewhere.
He was in fourth. He was just a couple of seconds back there. Came in on the inside of there.
Yep, so just running off the pace, but still running strong. You got to be impressed with them putting that boat back together that way. Looking into the north turn. Had a couple of boats spin out in these two classes on Friday. One went over. So we watch the lead boats coming out on the back straightaway here. It was Marker 17 Marine 1, Boat Floater 2, Sheriff Lobo 3, Visit St. Pete Clearwater in 4th. We did not see Octane come around.
I didn't see Octane start, tell you the truth.
Okay. All right, we're looking at our leader right now in Class 200. It looks like it's a battle between Team Woody and Wicks. Wicks just noses by on the first lap. We on top, running in 3rd. And LSB, your overall leader in the Stock V class. Kevin Smith and Brett Lilly looking strong. And RS Racing running in 2nd.
Wow. Relentless and Shocker well off the pace.
Here comes the Punisher, Relentless. Running in 3rd. And now our number 4 boat, there comes Shocker. As Joey was saying, it's a bit of a shocker. Those boats were really close to each other all day on Friday. And the Firm passes in 5th place. Move into the picture here in a moment. Again, we're looking at turn number 3 in Key West Harbor. There, the Punisher. Running back in 3rd place in Stock V.
He's running 2nd overall in the class point-wise, but the Hurricane breaking out has a huge point total on everybody, so everybody's going to do a lot of work to go catch that LSB. Britt is off and running.
There's a lot of racing going on the way down to turn number 1, Wicks and Team Woodies.
Those two guys came in side by side. The Wicks just nosing them out at the start-finish line. We are positioned right there at our broadcast booth, the Deep Impact Custom Boats Blackwater broadcast booth here on the Zone, 97.7 Sports Radio, and on the live stream at Race World Offshore's Facebook page. Our leaders coming right at you there. Marker 17 Marine continues to hold the lead in the modified V class. Has distanced himself from the 2nd place boat pretty well here. Moving in front of the fans at Key West Harbor. Beautifully prepared outer limits hull. And Boat Floater holds 2nd place. St. Pete now into 3rd. Sheriff Lobo 4th. Watching the boats as they head to the hairpin turn. 2 laps in the books in this 10-lap race here today.
Marker 17 Marine in control of that World Championship overall right now. A win for them, just holds on to it. Doesn't matter what Boat Floaters does from that 2nd position. They need to make that move on Marker if they want that title.
Boats cleanly go through the turn. We're following Visit St. Pete Clearwater around the course here. Had that bad damage. Now back to our leaders in Class 200, Wicks, the developer. Woody in 2nd. Team Woody Racing running in 2nd. Back out to the backstretch, boatfloater.com. Overall point leader. Modified V class. We see MSP, the Firm, down in the infield. Had to wonder how much time they were going to be able to run that boat after flipping it. There's LSB, Hurricane of Awesomeness. Britt Lilly, Kevin Smith continuing to lead in a commanding lead in the Stock V class here.
Very commanding there.
29 LSB Extreme Hull. And now the Relentless Punisher. Trotting around RS Racing now in third.
And that move actually takes RS Racing for the World Championship off the podium. It puts Shocker right now. If their places hold, Shocker would be back at the top of that podium by 1 point over RS Racing for that third spot.
Strong winds continuing to blow here out of the northeast, a steady 15 miles an hour, kind of in between tides here at Key West Harbor, and it looks like the boats are benefiting from sitting in the lee of the island and the tide just starting to come back in. And here comes Shocker running in fourth, the MTI team will come around running unopposed in stock 450. Follow that boat into the turn, big wide MTI with the twin 450R package from Mercury Racing. You can see what a dynamic class that could be if we can get it built up to 5-6 boats next year. And now Marker 17 Marine back around the course. In first place, a little bit of air there, jumping. More disturbed water than before. Boatfloater.com in second. This is St. Pete continuing to run a close third. Now Sheriff Lobo will come into your screen. Running in fourth. So we're just about a third of the way through this race for the Stock V boats and the 450 class. Our Bracket 2 and Stock V boats out on their second lap. Now at the end of 3, the Wicks. The developer Harpoon Harry's in first. Team Woody holding second place. Both those boats in the points hunt. Everybody's in the points hunt in bracket 200. Here comes We on Top.
Holding place in that bracket, if it goes the way, Wicks would be your world champion, with We on Top actually coming in second, just 2 points ahead of Team Woody if the places hold where they stand right now, just 3 laps in. A lot could happen.
All boats continuing to run here today. Now, We on Top is the only boat that finished all 3 days. That's LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. Lily trying to make his daddy proud, the great Art Lily. Caught up with him down at the street party on Friday. It was a pleasure to see him, got his autograph. It was an extreme pleasure of mine. Thank you, Art Lily, for all you've done for Offshore Powerboat Racing. Relentless Punisher. Running in second. There we see Team Woody. Team Woody needs to get around the Wicks. RNS Racing. Third place in Stock V. 3 laps into this 10-lap race as we watch Taylor Sissom, Johnny Tomlinson come around for the 4th time. Right now, it looks like Marker 17 Marine, Dub, it looks like they're able to keep that boat in the water right now with the conditions.
Yeah, they've really got it running good. The tide is still trickling outbound. Looks like it's just about petered out. Conditions could possibly change in the next half hour or so here.
All right, Marker 17 Marine. This is a boat with quite a history. Won many times a world championship with Doc Mike Jansen, Snowy Mountain Brewery. Now Brian Forehand runs this boat with Vinny Diorio at 29 Outer Limits. Marker 17 Marine. In first place, lap number 4 of 10. Boat Floater in second. Visit St. Pete in third. Sheriff Robo in 4th in the Mod V class. And there goes the Wicks team. Passes. It'll move into your screen here in a moment. They just completed lap number 4. Class 200. Team Woody passing in 2nd in Class 200. We on top racing. Holding on to 3rd. Right now, Joey, in Class 200, it's the Wicks' day to win if they can continue to stay in front.
Correct. They have a sizable advantage right now, and We on Top is actually sitting still ahead of Team Woody. So if Team Woody wants to move up the standings, they got to get a hold of at front of the Wicks, and if they get in front of the Wicks, then all of a sudden they're looking to be the world champion. So that bracket could change so easily by one boat going off course here.
Here comes LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. Continuing to lead in the Stock V class. This is a boat that's faced a lot of challenges this year. It's a former championship boat, but they're back on their game. And what better place to get your game on than in Key West? Britt Lilly and Kevin Smith, We on Top. Holding on to 3rd place here in the bracket 200 class. And now the Relentless Punisher in front of the fans. In 2nd overall in Stock V, just about at the halfway point in today's race. It's LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness race to win here.
It is
Stock V.
It's been his race to win all week, and he hasn't let it up. So you're right. At this point, he controls his own destiny.
What we're really going to be looking at is this modified V class. Boat Floater was in the overall points lead. RS Racing comes around in 3rd overall. Looking at the Relentless Shocker. I'm sorry, the Relentless Punisher. This team running without Charlie McCarthy. We wish him well as he recovers. Like to be back in that boat. He's rooting them on here today. Marker 17 Marine continuing to lead. He was running strong on Wednesday, but had a drive malfunction. Boatfloater.com running in 2nd. Visit St. Pete Clearwater, the team that collided with Marker 17, holding 3rd place. And even though they put that boat back together after a huge hole in it on the port side left, couldn't tell that boat almost sank on Wednesday. They're running in 3rd. We just watched Sheriff Lobo come around in 4th, and the Wicks continuing to lead in bracket 400 after 5 laps. The bracket 200, excuse me, after 5 laps. Give us a breakdown on the point situation going on right now in Mod V.
Modified V, we got Marker Marine holding with their lead. They're holding a 381-point lead over Boat Floaters. Is sitting at 369 right now. But Visit St. Pete is quietly sitting back there, sitting just a few 60 points back in Marker Marine. So if they can make a move and they're within striking distance, they can definitely push up towards the top of this podium and not just sit at 3rd right now.
Marker 17's got to stay in front of Boat Floater.
Got to stay in front of Boat Floaters for sure to hold us win this title.
There goes the Wicks. We watch Shocker go by, running in 4th place in the Stock V class. So we're on lap number 6 here on all these classes, guys. Is that correct?
Yes, we're on lap 6 now.
Yep, lap 6. 6 of 10, for the exception of bracketed class 200.
So it's 7 now.
Yeah,
Or not, Brian, I'm sorry.
they've got 3 laps to go. LSB cruising through.
3 laps right in the bracket. And that Stock 450 is already well a lap ahead pretty much of the entire fleet today.
Right. As you're looking at Team Woody, the trouble they had on Wednesday is haunting them here today. Kept them out of the mix for the top 1 or 2 positions. We watch our next boat to come by here at the start-finish line. That's the Relentless Punisher, holding second spot in Stock V. So it's LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness in first, Relentless the Punisher running in second as we await RS Racing and the Shocker to come in. They've been running in the 3-4 spots so far here this afternoon. 14 boats started this second start here today, the Race World Offshore World Championships. You're listening to live coverage from the Deep Impact Custom Boats Blackwater broadcast booth on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio and at the Facebook page of Race World Offshore. Cigarette Hawk pace boat. It'll be a historic start later today for that boat, the Cigarette Hawk.
That is correct. 70th start for those guys, John Kelleher and Nick Bohr in driving that Cigarette Hawk.
Clearwater is gotten by boatfloater.com.
And Marker Marine 17.
That's right, you're exactly right. Didn't see them, but
Visit St. Pete is actually in the lead.
They're having some issue. Visit St. Pete now in first, Boat Floater in second, and Marker 17 Marine is moving to the infield. Oh, that's bad news for Brian Forehand. Sheriff Lobo now in third. They look like they are trying to hustle either to get back up on plane or to get to the cranes. And it looks like they are heading in. They must have a major problem in there. Did the Wicks come by and all of that? Did you guys see the Wicks team?
The Wicks did come by, yes. The Wicks is still, yes. They're still in the lead of the Bracket 2 class. Woody's in second.
Yeah, while I was watching Marker 17 Marine, the Wicks came through. And now We on Top has come by, so it's the Wicks, the developer, Harpoon Harry's 1, Team Woody 2, and We on Top third there. There's Boat Floater. We've had a mix-up in standings here as now Visit St. Pete Clearwater has taken the lead in the Modified V class. Boat Floater holding second now, but boy, that was a big jump as Visit got by Boat Floater, and Sheriff Lobo now in third place as we only have 3 boats left in that class. Marker 17 Marine, who had led from the beginning, is now out of the race and heading into the hot pits.
And out of the point total, too. That pretty much knocks them out and takes them off the podium for the week, opening the door for Visit St. Pete, and Boat Floaters now seem to be in control. In order for Visit St. Pete to get the world title, they need Lobo to take over Boat Floaters.
We're watching Boat Floater and Visit St. Pete Clearwater out at turn number 1. Boat Floater. As they move around slower traffic, Visit St. Pete Clearwater was able to hold them off. And Boat Floater got caught up in the slower traffic. So Visit St. Pete Clearwater extending their lead here between 1 and 2. Nice racing there by this young team who is showing some grit, putting that boat back together after busting it wide open on Wednesday, a 32 Phantom. Ian Morgan and Nick Imprescia, the son of the great throttleman Joey Imprescia. There goes the Relentless Shocker. Continue to run in second in the midst of all of that action. LSB Hurricane of Austin had come around, running in first in Stock V after lap number 6. So a lot of changing going on. Marker 17 out. Your new leader in Modified V is Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Whoa, a little bit of air there. Or one of these V-bottom boats. Now one dumping to the inside of the course. But Visit St. Pete Clearwater leading here today. And Imprescia doing what his dad did for so many years here in Key West. Boat Floater running in second. We see the Wicks cruise through still in first place in bracket 200. RS Racing grinding through it, running in third. There goes Sheriff Lobo, the team from Trinidad. Now they hold on to a podium spot today in third.
That would push him to third overall in the points ahead of Marker Marine.
The Team Woody Fountain will come into your screen here in a moment, heading into Key West Harbor. In second place, there they go, the Fountain, Team Woody, Chad Woody and Billy Shipley. We on top racing. Third overall, just one lap to go in bracket class 200.
And with 3 laps to go in that modified V, boat floaters can finish second from here and still win the World Championship. I wonder if they've got guys on their radio starting to tell them that chatter. Hey, look, just run your race to second place right now. And that's a world title.
So letting St. Pete get around them wasn't really so bad. Most important thing right now for the Kildall family, win this World Championship, and they can do it by holding second here today. We're going to see the faster Wicks team go around boat floater here. Back into the harbor, the MTI team. 8 laps completed here today. And a great demonstration year for that 39 MTI. Now back to your leader in Stock V, LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. These guys are sky high right now. Britt Lilly, Kevin Smith, trying to wrap up another World Championship here in Key West. They've had a lot of success here, Joey.
They sure have, year after year, and this year they have hardly been challenged, by the back of this pack. They have been pretty much flag to flag, day in, day out, all the way through.
7 laps through this 10-mile course here today. So we've had a big lead change here over the last couple laps in modified V, with Marker 17 Marine exiting the race. Visit St. Pete Clearwater moving from third to first. There we see the relentless Punisher. There's second. And Boat Floater fell to third, but then moved back up to second, and that's where they need to be to wrap up a World Championship. Sheriff Lobo now in third. Here comes Shocker.
He's a lap
They're a
behind.
lap down.
Is he a lap down?
They are.
Shocker is a lap down, running in 4th place. Visit St. Pete Clearwater, your overall leader in modified V, Boat Floater. Right now in line to win a World Championship again here in Key West.
The Wicks snuck by there too. That should be it, actually. That should be the world title for the Wicks right there.
Right,
that
the
should be
Wicks.
their 6th, and as long as they didn't break out here today, that should push them over the top for the World Championship right there. The Wicks developer, Harpoon Harry's, unofficially, congratulations.
So the Wicks with the win here today. Sheriff Lobo coming around. They're in third in the modified V class. Still 2 laps to go in modified V. But in class 200, a little bit of squirreliness there for Visit St. Pete Clearwater. He's supposed to straighten back out. Now move by Shocker. Boat's not in class there. You guys see Team Woody come by?
I did not. I was looking out at the other side.
We'll have to sort out whether Team Woody came by while we were looking at other boats that were coming around. We see We on Top, it just came around.
Either way, We on Top is still going to be your runner-up in that bracket 2 class, whether they finish 2nd or 3rd today.
Goes the Marine Technologies boat.
That should be it for them. That's 10 laps for them, too.
As they call it a race. Put on a tremendous demonstration for that factory 450 class. We're down to the very end of this 14 boat start. The MTI team is wrapped up. The Class 200 boats are wrapped up here today. We're just waiting for the finishes in Modified V and Stock V here with a couple 3 laps left to go. Now, LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. After lap number 8, flawless day for them. Looks like We on Top's going to go out for one more lap.
Yeah, I did not see Woody come back around for that final lap.
We on Top has followed the Wicks boat because he's out on his on the last lap too.
Yeah, a lot of these bracketed boats always seem to want to take that extra lap, and better to be safe than sorry, that's for sure. Here comes your number 2 boat, the Relentless Punisher.
Is that the Team Woody sitting right there in the infield, I believe?
So they did.
I don't believe they made it around that last lap. They were definitely on their 8th lap, and I can question if they came around turn 3 cleanly. But they're definitely sitting in the infield. Regardless, unofficially right now, Wicks Developer is your world champion bracket 2. We on Top looks to be 2nd place, and the Woody will come in 3rd.
All right, here comes the Relentless Punisher. They're in 2nd overall. And now visit St. Pete Clearwater. And boatfloater.com. You can see the damage on Visit St. Pete Clearwater on the right side, the rear of that boat as it passes by. Wicks coming around. They are going to be your world champions here in Key West today. The winner here today for the 3rd day of racing. They won on Wednesday, and coupled with that victory and their 3rd place finish on Friday, should be wrapping up a bracket class 200 world championship as Sheriff Lobo comes around running in 3rd in Modified V. And Shocker is a lap off the pace, running in 4th place here today.
Regardless of that, Shocker is still sitting on the podium for the world champion chase in 3rd place overall right now.
Yeah, Visit St. Pete Clearwater is a big story. Again, suffered all that damage in the collision with marker 17 green. As We on Top coming around, finished 2nd here today and 2nd overall in the point standings, we believe. RNS Racing holding on to 3rd in the Stock V class here today. Looking at the pace boat number 1, the 50-foot Cigarette. John Ruiz, the president, has captained that boat this week with some great starts in front of the fans for the World Championships presented by World Offshore. Still starts, still finishes in Modified V. When the lead boats come around, they should be on their last lap out there here today as we follow boats coming around turn number 3 out by Fort Zachary Taylor on the live stream at the World Offshore Facebook page.
That's Pete.
Now LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness back into the harbor in front of us on the outer mole, away from the television screen, but they've just completed lap number 9 of 10 with 1 lap to go. There they are as they go around turn 3 for the final time to be scored here today. They have led every lap of every race this week in Key West. LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. Now our lead boat coming around in the Modified V class looks like the Visit St. Pete Clearwater on the left side of your screen.
Should be Relentless coming up chasing the LSB there in 2nd place in the Stock V.
Yep. We're counting boats here towards the end. We'll announce the winner of the World Championships for you. There comes a Relentless Punisher holding on to 2nd. But your overall winner in the Modified V class is Visit St. Pete Clearwater. They average 85 miles an hour out there today. Take the checkered flag and win today's race final on Sunday. Boatfloater.com will take 2nd. and they unofficially will be your world champions in Modified V.
7-point difference between the two boats right there by the time that all the totals are added up. That Boat Floaters pulls it off 369 to 362 versus Visit St. Pete.
So Visit St. Pete, Clearwater, what a story. All that damage to the right side of the boat, put it back together, patched it up, and ran strong on Friday and Sunday and earned a podium finish for the overall World Championship, but steal the show here today and win the World Championship, win the final race of the World Championships in Visit St. Pete Clearwater, a 32 Phantom with Ian Morgan and Nick Impressia with a 700 Scorpion engine. Live coverage of the World Championships. But again, back to Nick Impressia and Ian Morgan. What a show for them. Visit St. Pete Clearwater, after busting that boat up on Wednesday, come back, piece it together, and win here on Sunday, finish on the podium in the World Championship. At BoatFloater.com, unofficially your world champion overall after 3 days of racing. Watch the Shocker come by, a lap off the pace, but here we'll have our finish in.
That's RS Racing still on the lead lap there, actually just the backside of that lead lap with LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness and the Relentless.
Yeah, but we should have a finish here just in a moment. Final finish of this second race of the day in Stock V. LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness, here they come. Here are your overall winners. This is a big day for the Lilly family. Britt Lilly and Kevin Smith. 29 Extreme Hull. They do it themselves. Kevin Smith on the throttles. These are your world champions. 3 consecutive wins this week. LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. What a big day for the LSB team. Some people are charmed in Key West. Britt Lilly has been charmed in LSB. Multi-time world champion here in the Conch Republic.
Well, he's been impressive all week, but especially impressive today. He just opened that lead up and just never looked back.
It's been that way all week, hasn't it, guys? I mean,
all week for him, no doubt.
So the LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. 29 LSB Extreme Hull with the 525 stock Mercury engine in it. Britt Lilly, Kevin Smith, your big winners here this week in the LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. Here comes the Relentless Punisher. They'll take second. Travis Petco, Anthony Severa, 30-foot Phantom. Of course, Charlie McCarthy unable to join them in the cockpit after a medical issue in Fort Myers. You know, he's with them, and they will have a podium finish here this week.
Sheriff Lobo will not be coming around one more final time. We saw them being pulled through the infield there, but they will still end up number 3 on the podium in the modified V class, just edging out the Marker 17 Marine by 6 points.
All right, so exciting racing here in the second start of the day. We still got 2 races to go. Let's recap for you. In the modified V class, Marker 17 Marine led halfway through the race, had an issue and went into the hot pits. And at that point, a lot of stuff happened because Visit St. Pete Clearwater moved up from 3rd to 1st, got around Boat Floater, but that's all Boat Floater needed to do was finish in 2nd place here today.
Correct.
To get the points needed for the World Championship. Sheriff Lobo will take 3rd. And in Stock V, as we just mentioned, LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness led from flag to flag. Their 3rd consecutive World Championship. They'll take the overall points championship, and Relentless Punisher should finish in 2nd. Now, what is your thoughts about 3rd place in that class?
Yeah, 3rd place is actually going to go to Shocker by 1 point. 1 point difference there. Shocker started with today with 166. They get a 147 for today's total. RNS 81, 148, 164 for today's total by my math. That should be 313 to 312. Shocker pulling on to the podium in the third place spot for the world title.
And the developer, that's the Wicks team, Harpoon Harries, led from start to finish today in bracket class 200. And it's what they needed in order to win a world championship over the 3 days, Joey. So they'll be hoisting the overall championship here.
They've done it before. I think they understood that despite the troubles that they ran into there on that one day, the day 2, they ran into their troubles. They won day 1, they ran into troubles day 2, but despite that, they understood where they are. They've won world titles before, so they just stuck the course, came out here today, ran a great race today, and that class was so close that it was really up for grabs across the way, and you saw it go to the Wicks developer. Champions for them. We on top does just enough to hold off Woody for the second place, and then Team Woody gets their third podium of the week. 2 first places and a third place for Team Woody this week.
All right, you see LSB going around one more time. You just want to make sure, I guess, you take that victory lap, but we saw him come around the previous lap, and they'd already wrapped up the World Championship, Britt Lilly and Kevin Smith. And, of course, the MTI boat, Taylor Sism and John Tomlinson, guys, they were running unopposed. It's a class that we're looking to develop in the future. We're hearing up to a half a dozen teams on the build for next year, but they really showed what that was all about, Dub.
Oh, yeah. They lapped everybody at least once, and it just shows you how impressive that class is. And, they ran without a hitch all week long. So that just also goes to show you how dependable those new 4-stroke 450Rs are.
Relentless, been a great week for them. They'll finish second overall in the World Championship. Big week for them as well. They just could not catch up with the LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness. All right, race number 2 is in the books. We're going to get at it again here at 1:30 is a scheduled start for the 12 super stock boats, and this one's going to be really interesting as the World Championships continue. Still 2 more starts, another 2:30 start for Super Cat and Extreme. World Championship racing here in the Florida Keys, the 40th anniversary Key West World Championships, live on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio and at Race World Offshore's Facebook page. We thank you for joining us out there on the World Wide Web globally. Glad to have you with us from the Deep Impact Custom Boats Blackwater broadcast booth. More after this.